What is going on, Miami boys? Welcome to the first edition of the 2024-2025 season of the State of the League. This is going to be not the usual. I have decided to dial it back due to the BS that happened from Thursday to Sunday, well, Monday actually. And of course, we're on a short week. We got another game coming up Thursday, Dolphins Bills. Very, very important. So let's go ahead and let's recap. Mervin, you're new here. So you know about my old State of the Leagues and stuff like that. I've added like categories, music, sound effects, and stuff to them. But I am not doing that for the first 3 weeks, which I'll tell you guys about later. The reason I am not doing any of that for the first 3 weeks is because basically preseason is no longer relevant, right? It's only for rookies and it's only for people that are trying to make the team. So what you essentially have is, look at me talking with my hands. All right. What you essentially have is basically NFL teams, the first 3 weeks of the season are their preseason. Then after week 4 on, that's when you start seeing the points. That's when you start seeing your players ball out and everything like that. And from Thursday to Sunday, we saw a little bit of both. But as we all know, or some of you know, this was the week for running backs. If you had a good running back, more than likely they got you a decent amount of your points on your team, because quarterbacks didn't do nothing. I think I read a stat. I have to correct myself, or if you know the stat, then you correct me. We basically had quarterbacks all underperform under their projected numbers, minus Baker Mayfield, Tua Tagovailoa, and you had wide receivers who are studs absolutely do nothing. I don't know what it was. I don't know if the quarterbacks had tunnel vision. I don't know if the running games were that good. I don't know what it was. But if you had a wide receiver or a top tight end, they basically gave you nothing, minus Jaden Reed and a few others. But other than that, star names that you know either got hurt or didn't put up any numbers. And I know I had some of them on my team, so excuse me if I'm a little bitter, because I'm losing right now. Anyway, so basically, Merv, it's the same thing here. I do a State of the League, like I said, but as the season goes on, it becomes, I feel, a little bit more and more entertaining. Then I take the video, then I post it on YouTube, and then I send the link for you. I know that you work super late or whatever. You can watch it at your desired time of choosing, but you'll have the link, and then you can watch it. Join the YouTube channel. All right, let's cut the fluff. Let's get straight to the point. Let's talk about week 1. Let's go over the games. Mervin, basically the format here, now that you're on Sleeper and not stupid ESPN, is that we go ahead and we go over the games. We go over the games, what happened, what was significant. We go through all the games, and then we go ahead and then we go to the Sleeper page. We go over the matchups, and we say who is the stud of the week, who is the doormat of the week. First game. So there you have it. First game, Chiefs Ravens. Xavier Worthy, as advertised. What can you say about the guy? The guy's the fastest guy ever, and the guy scored twice. One on a broken coverage. I don't understand how Marlon Humphrey leaves that guy alone. But kudos to the Chiefs. As we all know, the Chiefs are the favorite to go to the Super Bowl. The Chiefs have Taylor Swift. I don't think Travis Kelce's going to have that big of a season. He did nothing this game, which is very surprising. And the Ravens basically choked this game away. They got away from the run, and when they had to pass, Lamar Jackson was dinking and dunking on a lot of checkdowns, didn't go to Zay Flowers downfield, missed him wide open in the end zone, and then Isaiah Likely, because he has a bigger foot than most at 6'4", steps out of bounds. Ravens lose the game. I'm not worried about the Ravens. I'm not worried about the Chiefs. The Chiefs will be there. They don't even have Hollywood Brown right now. But it was a great game. Came down to the end. Kudos to the Chiefs. Moving on. Packers-Eagles. Also, another great game. But let me stop for a second. And let me offer a little bit of advice to the NFL. What you're doing in Europe is great. Have no issue with that or whatever. But those stadiums are more in an area that has the currency to provide the best environment, not only for your players, but for their players, because their players in a more important game that makes more money, for one, and fills up the stadium with more people than an actual NFL game, they put the time and care into that field because they're not getting their soccer players hurt. Their soccer players get paid more than NFL players, so they make sure that field is top notch because those fans will kill if one of those players had to deal with the field like these players had to deal with in Brazil, and ultimately cost Jordan Love to get planted. And then, of course, the Philadelphia Eagles were dirty, held his legs, and sprained his knee, and now he's out 4 to 5 weeks. Sorry, Cheesehead, or whatever. I apologize for those guys and those dirty Eagles. But I'm sorry. I don't know what the lure. Maybe you were trying to bring some money to Brazil's economy. I don't know how that is. I don't know why you even played in Brazil. But you cannot go back to Brazil. It's one of the poorest countries in South America. That field was horrendous. I don't know what deal was made or no deal was made or whatever. But if you're going to here's my suggestion. If you're going to a country like that, there need to be some provisions in place for player safety. And also there needs to be an agreement that the field will be top notch because there were multiple they changed their cleats multiple times and it still didn't matter. We're lucky we only lost Jordan Love because it could have been worse and we could have lost multiple players. But anyway, I digress. Getting back to the game, Saquon Barkley, stud. Saquon Barkley showed what he can do behind a real offensive line with a real quarterback and real receivers. I don't know if any of you guys have watched the Hard Knocks with the Giants prior to the draft. Look at Malik Neighbors. The guy's face looked like he didn't want to be there. He didn't even know Daniel Jones' name. And the Hard Knocks, they told Saquon, hey, we're choosing Daniel Jones over you. We're going to let you explore free agency, but give us a chance to match the offer. And when Saquon called their bluff and went to the Eagles, they didn't have the money to match the offer. And you can see in the Hard Knocks that the owner is like, oh, if Saquon goes to Philly, I'm going to have nightmares. Joe Shane, you're on the clock. Because that right there, the performance by Saquon, I know Mr. Mara, the owner, ripped you a new one on that one. But kudos to Saquon. Kudos to the Eagles. Jaden Reed is continuing his success from last year. I called last year early the year of the slot receiver. Kane's gang can attest to that. George can attest to that. It's all about the slot receiver, and Jaden Reed is proving me right. Even though you don't know on that team where the ball is going, but it seems like Jaden Reed has put himself as the primary receiver, and then everybody else gets theirs as well. Kind of like Houston a little bit. And I say that in a good light because that's a good problem to have if you're the Packers and if you're Houston, which we'll talk about them later. But kudos to the Eagles for the win. Packers, it's going to suck right now. I'm just be honest to you, Cheesehead, it's going to suck. No Jordan Love for four weeks. It looks like with this with the knee, and then you bring in Malik Willis. So I'm saying it now. I am downgrading everyone except for Josh Jacobs on the Packers team. It's going to be a struggle for these next couple of weeks. Moving on, Bills Cardinals. This one hits a little home for me because I don't understand. I don't understand it. I am not only the commissioner of Miami Boys, but I am also in other leagues. Other leagues that I have multiple rosters of Dalton Kincaid and of Marvin Harrison. And as you know, here in Miami Boys, I have Marvin Harrison, but I also have Kyler Murray. And I don't want to say that they shit the bed. They should have won this game. The Cardinals should have won this game. But the greediness of Josh Allen, you can't get mad at it. He should have had 3 touchdowns instead of 2 rushing touchdowns. But I digress. Because he didn't throw to Dalton Kincaid, and Marvin Harrison had 1 catch and was wide open in the end zone waving his hand, and Kyler Murray didn't even look his way. I need to know what happened. I really need to know what happened. I took the Cardinals plus 12.5, so kudos to me for that. But they should have won this game. And it's a mystery. It's a mystery how a generational talent like Marvin Harrison at 6'4" can only have 1 catch. It is a mystery when you don't know Buffalo lost its whole offense, how Dalton Kincaid does nothing at 6'4", 6'5". These are tall guys, and they did absolutely nothing. And that's why I'm currently losing right now. Kudos to Buffalo. We'll see you Thursday in Miami to get your ass kicked. Again, the Cardinals should have won this game. But Josh Allen, that's why you got to put him at anytime touchdown scorer. The guy will snake his own guys for self-gratification. And as a person who bets anytime touchdown, I love it, even though I hate the Bills. But Josh Allen comes into every game saying that I'm going to get me. And he does that. Like I said, it would have been 3. He only had 2 this game. But hopefully he won't have that Thursday in Miami. Moving on. Patriots-Bengals. Not going to talk too much about this game. Kudos to the Patriots. Their offensive line looked like the 95 Cowboys, and Ramondre Stevenson looked like Emmitt Smith. Cincinnati looks defeated without T. Higgins, and I watched that game. Jamar Chase, for the little bit that he played, did not try. Did not run fast. I saw him on one route where Joe Burrow knew he was going to the tight end. He didn't even run the route. He just stood there. I don't know why Cincinnati paid Joe Burrow more money and made him the highest paid quarterback until that day where we found out Dak Prescott would become the highest paid. Why you're waiting till the day of, I don't know. Why you paid Joe Burrow before Jamar Chase, I don't know. That offense doesn't function without those receivers. T. Higgins is already sitting out games because your franchise tagged him. I think it's going to be a bad year for Cincinnati. I am off of them. I am off of their guys in fantasy. If you have them, you got no choice but to start them. Stevenson right now seems like the only startable player on the Patriots. We'll see what happens next week. But it's not looking good for the Bengals, who play KC. Whew. Hate to be them. Moving on. Vikings-Giants. Not going to spend too much time on this one either. Giants equals... Just go back, rewind this video back to what I was saying about Joe Shane. Joe Shane, this... God, you guys are going to go down with the ship. Joe Shane, Brian Daboll, you guys who have been in here, remember when I was talking about Matt Nagy and he wasn't using Montgomery and everything like that, and you heard me stress about Matt Nagy? Brian Daboll, Joe Shane are the new Matt Nagy, Ryan Pace combo. And they're going to go down with the ship with Daniel Jones. Malik Neighbors is going to do his time out of there. He's going to get the hell out of there, request a trade and get out of there, or not re-sign with them. And you guys are going to go down with shit with Daniel Jones because you decided to give him $140 million. He is terrible. He is horrible. And Sam Darnold looks like the next coming of Joe Montana. The guy was like 10 of 10 in this game before Jordan Addison got hurt, and then he started missing some passes or whatever. But JJ's still there. Jordan Addison, we'll see how long he's going to be out. They say maybe 2 to 3 weeks, but I still have faith in this Vikings team with Aaron Jones. They look pretty good. But again, I can't give the measuring stick. Like I said, we're going to wait 3 weeks. I can't give the measuring stick that much because you were playing a poverty franchise in the Giants. Let me pause for a minute before I talk about this next game. Okay. They call Caleb Williams a generational talent. I drafted him as such, as a generational talent with the number 1 pick. I have endured a pink phone. I have endured pink lipstick. I sat through the whole entire Hard Knocks and watched him carry that green Birkin bag while still painting his nails. And then I supported him on Sunday when he painted his nails orange and then proceeded to go to Tennessee, and crap the bed. The first number 1 pick in history to not throw a touchdown. And they still won the game because of their defense. I don't think I can deal if this is going to be the season. I've supported his. I'm sorry. Well, is it his or is it he, him, they, them? I don't know what his pronouns are or whatever, but I've supported him carrying a purse. I've been more supportive of his LGBTQ or whatever he's got going on or whatever to not help me out and give me any points. Let's just say I might not be supporting that much longer because the Titans in reality should have won this game if Will Levis that didn't choke that bum. But kudos to the Bears. Again, not rushing to judgment past 3 weeks. After the 3rd week, if it's like this, prepare to have an epic week 4 state of the league. Because I ain't putting up with it. But kudos to the Bears. Titans are okay. Defense is okay. Tony Pollard looks good. But Will Levis has got to get it together. No touchdowns for DeAndre Hopkins. Calvin Ridley is unacceptable to me. Even though Chicky had one. Moving on. This is one that's going to be quick too. Saints 47, Panthers 10. Let's just put it this way. I think the Saints win was a fluke. I don't think that Derek Carr is that good. He didn't even throw to Chris Olave, another receiver that did absolutely nothing on your starting squad. I know he wasn't on anybody's bench. Nothing to Chris Olave. And the Panthers need to either be sent to Europe. You know that they were selling their tickets. Their tickets are like under $5. Look that up. But the Panthers either need to be sent to Europe or the Panthers need to be sold to Canada to play in the Canadian Football League. Maybe the Canadian Football League rules will help them out. They're a poverty franchise. I hate to say it, man, and I like the guy, but Bryce Young is not an NFL quarterback. Not an NFL quarterback. And I'll leave it at that. Anybody on the Panthers, unstartable. Unstartable right now. Saints, monitor it and see what happens. I think it was a fluke, and we'll see how they play next week. Steelers, Falcons, another one that's going to be quick. Kirk Cousins doesn't look the same. Doesn't look like he's completely healed from the Achilles. Look like he just wanted his money. But that plant foot to throw, not putting that plant foot forward, that's where his Achilles was, because them balls to Drake London were down on the ground. There is no way that they should have lost to this Pittsburgh team and Justin Fields, who won, by the way, off of 6 field goals. 6 field goals. Even though George Pickens had a semi-decent day, there's no way they can continue this for a season. Their defense is going to have to save them in a multitude of games, but it's only going to last half the season because defenses get tired, and this offense ain't putting up no points. Right now in the Falcons, of course, you got to start your stars. Hope that Kirk Cousins gets out of it. Nobody startable except for George Pickens on the Steelers right now. Moving on. The shocker of the week, Dolphins-Jags. What I thought was going to be a shootout started off. We all know I'm not going to get into it. With the Tyreek Hill buffoonery, I'll just be nice and call it that, with the cops or whatever. Dolphins 20, Jags 17. I did have the Jags plus 8.5 because I thought it was going to be a shootout. But no Evan Ingram. I mean, no Mostert in this game. Achane got a touchdown. Tyreek saved us at the end after Javon Holland made one of the best defensive plays I've seen in a while. But I, as a Dolphin fan, even though I'm wearing a Seahawks hat, just because, let's just say I'm wearing it for Kenneth Walker. I don't know. But Dolphins got to put more points in this. In the division that we're in with the Bills, with the Jets, I'm not worried about the Patriots, but in the AFC itself, the Dolphins have to put up more than 20 points, especially when you don't have all of your defense. The Jaguars, again, I'm going to chalk it up to week 1. No preseason time, so I'm going to chalk it up to week 1. But you guys have too good of an offense on paper to be putting up 17 points. Kudos to the Dolphins. We'll see the Bills on Thursday. Texans-Colts. What a shootout. What a game. Joe Mixon is making my score respectable now. CJ Stroud. If Patrick Mahomes wasn't the face of the league, he'd be the face of the league. And what a resurgence for Stephon Diggs. I know you're happy about that, Mikey. I didn't think he really was going to do anything, but they're moving him around. They're moving him around in different positions, and he's been primarily in that game he played the slot. So that's how he got the 2 touchdowns. It sucks for Tank Dell. Sorry, George. But I knew it was going to happen, the regression. But I hope he doesn't play the slot all year because he's an outside receiver. Tank Dell is the slot. So let's see how that goes. The Colts are absolutely this game was a fluke. I did not see Anthony Richardson only throwing a handful of passes and them all going to Alex Pierce. He had a Donnie Mitchell open multiple times and couldn't hit him if he was on the broadside of a barn. But falling down, getting tackled, he throws an absolute dart, a 60-yard bomb to Alec Pierce. Like, I think that the Houston corners thought that he was getting sacked or something, so they dropped off of the coverage. That's the only explanation I have. The Colts still put up 27 points. I still expect them, with the division that they're in, to be a factor, but I expect Houston to win the division. And now with Joe Mixon, I think they're unstoppable. They just need to fix some things on defense. Raiders, Chargers. Not going to spend too much time on this one. Raiders, poverty franchise. Them and the Giants, number 1, number 2 picks for quarterback. Quinn Ewers, Shedeur Sanders, somebody get in there. Please help these poverty franchises because it sucks. And I actually picked the Raiders to win because I didn't know who was going to catch the ball for the Chargers or who was going to run for the Chargers. And J.K. Dobbins comes out of the box and looks like Barry Sanders. Prime Barry Sanders, J.K. Dobbins. And the Raiders just signed Christian Wilkins. They should be ashamed of themselves. And they deserve to lose. Chargers 22, Raiders 10. I know Devontae Adams is going to ask for a trade soon if they don't get their stuff together. Broncos, Seahawks. Seahawks win 28-10. Broncos, check down Charlie was their quarterback. All he did all game. 34 attempts, 134 yards. 3 to 5 yards per for Bo Nix. Check down Charlie. The guy checked down more than I've seen Chad Henne do. And remember, as a Dolphin fan, we used to call him check down Chad or whatever. Broncos are in that rebuild mode, so it's understandable. Seahawks look good. Tyler Lockett, Kenneth Walker, I mean, they just somehow get it done. They don't do it in spectacular fashion, and their defense is good. I'm kind of liking Seattle. Let's see what they got. Let's see if JSN can go forward on the next step. Everybody's startable on the Seahawks. Cortland Sutton, Jaleel McLaughlin, maybe Javonte Williams on a bye week. Only startable people for the Broncos. Cowboys, Browns. I'm in a league with some guys from Cleveland that I used to work with at my last job. They're Browns fans, and I feel for them. The sad part about it is that they can't do anything about it. They can't draft another quarterback because they gave all their draft picks to Houston, I think, for the next couple more years, because they traded for Mr. Massage and gave him a guaranteed contract of $240+ million. So they're stuck with him. In the midst of him being hurt, another sexual assault lawsuit came out on him or whatever. That, along with his dad dying, I'm sure was heavy on his mind on Sunday. He couldn't perform. Cowboys, Dak was riding high and mighty when getting CeeDee Lamb back and getting a new contract, and they lambasted them. And the Browns have an excellent defense, 33-17. I think the team is quitting on Watson. I think the defense is quitting because the offense can't do anything, and they're not going, and they're not pushing as hard. And I hate to say this, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong. I think that Deshaun Watson, I think that he should leave, if it's possible, he should leave on Fridays. Leave on Fridays, because I know it takes, I don't know how long, maybe somebody can let me know. I think he needs to fly to Thailand. Like, whenever the walkthrough is, and he needs to get special permission from the team. Take a private jet, fly to Thailand, where no one knows you. Fly to Thailand. Stay there until Saturday. Leave on a Thursday, stay there till Saturday in the day or whatever, because you got to fly back. Like, fly back early Saturday morning. Like, leave early Saturday morning. That way you're back in the U.S. on Saturday, ready for the game on Sunday. But from Thursday to Saturday, fly to Thailand and get it out your system, man. Get them, like, over there nobody knows you. You can get all the massages, all the rub and tugs, whatever you need. I feel like that's his superpower. I feel like if he was allowed to run roughshod and just get the massages that he needs, the guy was like a MVP candidate. You couldn't catch this guy. This guy was running out of the pocket, throwing down, doing air. He was amazing. Now he's a shell of himself, all because he can't get a rub and tug. All the guy wants is to be massaged. And I don't get it. I don't. I've gotten a massage like maybe once or twice. Yeah, it was cool or whatever, but like I wasn't stark naked where I was begging chicks to rub my butt and stuff like that and give me a rub and tug, but it works for him. I just want to see the guy be good because you got good players on that Cleveland team, and they're not going to be any good if the guy can't get a massage. I feel like his career is over unless he starts getting regular massages again. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. I don't think the Browns will be good until this guy can start getting some satisfaction from that. Moving on. Didn't expect this score. Buccaneers 37, Commanders 20. Jaden Daniels is the real deal. Too bad he doesn't have anybody to throw to, or he doesn't have a decent running back where he has to do it himself. Baker Mayfield. Kudos to Baker Mayfield. 4 touchdowns. Mike Evans is Mike Evans. Even Chris Godwin got in on the action. Pisses me off that Rashad White didn't get in on the action. But it is what it is. I know what I need to do for anytime touchdowns moving forward. Kudos to the Bucks. They have a hell of a test this Sunday in Detroit. Moving on. Rams, Lions. Again. Another game where I don't know what happened. Amon-Ra St. Brown was, maybe he disappeared this game. It says that he had 3 catches. I don't remember even seeing the 3. Sam Laporta, non-factor. It's basically Jamison Williams and Montgomery. And the Rams, kudos to them. Puka Nacua lost in the, again, this is preseason, folks. I call it preseason for these first 3 weeks. He's going to be out 3 to 4 weeks because he re-aggravated a knee injury that he had in the preseason. So as a precautionary, they put him on IR. He's going to be out. They already said it, and they lost an offensive lineman. But they still stuck in it because of Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp is Cooper Kupp. White to white connection, him and Stafford. And that'll keep them in games along with Kyron Williams. Lions are picking up right where they left off, and I love it. I think the Rams will be good and be in that hunt until Puka comes back. Stafford, Kyron Williams, Cooper Kupp, all startable. Maybe the slot receiver that was playing in in Puka's absence, if you need a little help on a bye week or something till he comes back. Lions, I'm chalking it up to a fluke week for Gibbs, Laporta, and for St. Brown. Start everybody on the Lions. It should be a shootout in Tampa Bay this week. And last game of the of the NFL week, 49ers, Jets. Now, I lost my week on this game, and the Jets look mediocre, to be honest. The offense isn't helping Breece Hall. Garrett Wilson, it's easy to pile up fantasy points when your quarterback is looking and going only to you and Allard Lazard on the left side, which allowed the 49ers to adjust their defense, and then it basically cost you the game. And then the Jets defense, who I was so high on, was doing their job in the beginning until they let Mason run all over them. I've never seen anybody get this amount of carries in a very long time, but the guy almost had 30 carries. I felt like I was watching, I'm being really honest, I felt like I was watching old school football, and how the 49ers let that guy with multiple carries like the old days. If you grew up in my era, or you watched old school football, the more the motto goes, the more carries you get, the more rhythm you build and stuff like that. And that guy built a rhythm, and by the end of the game had gashed the Jets defense, a top 5 defense, for 147 yards on 28 carries. Kudos to the 49ers. They can let Christian McCaffrey sit and rest his Achilles, because now they have a back that they know can carry the load. So I have nothing but respect for that. And they look like a powerhouse again. It might be the 49ers and Chiefs in the Super Bowl again. I hope it's the Dolphins. But anyway, the Jets look like a poverty franchise. Aaron Rodgers looks washed. And their defense looks like they're only as good as how many points the offense puts on the board. But I digress. Finishing off the week 1, again, I'm saying that we will not judge here, and we will not start our categories of fading, falling fast, of how the mighty have fallen, the award-winning make a trade and save your season. What else? The top 5 rookies. rookies that suck, rookie studs, rookies that suck, players that sucked, players that were studs for the week, and we will start that after week 3. I know some of you are pissed off, but the sound effects, the categories, everything, week 3, I promise. It's just a slow start, and it wouldn't make any sense doing it now, because some of you I can't wait, including myself. I may be in that boat. But some of you, I can't wait to tell you to make a trade and save your season. All right, let's go ahead and switching glasses here. Let's go ahead and let's look at the league. All right, week 1. Oh, excuse me. Week 1 matchups. You had Chino, I Know Fantasy Jesus. He beat me 289.12 to 234.82. I'm not even going into my team. I already told you guys in the previous segment why I lost. But Chino won due to the 58.50 points from Jordan Mason, and I'll leave it at that. Kudos on the win, Chino. I hope to see you down the road. Next up, you had All Day Cuz. He lost by the slimmest margin, and he lost to Cheesehead 319.35 to 311.78. I know that bites. I know that hurts. I'd rather get blown out than to lose a close game. Kudos to you for starting off the season 1-0, Cheesehead. But what did it cost? I wish I could put that Thanos meme. But what did it cost? It cost Jordan Love for a couple weeks. Hopefully, you can hold down the fort, you and Cooper Kupp, and whatever quarterback you decide to start can hold down the fort until Jordan Love comes back. All Day put up enough points that probably would have beat anybody else except for, would have beat anybody else. But that's a tough pill to swallow. That's a tough loss. Again, Tyreek Hill is Tyreek Hill. Amazing what he did, getting 60 points after being tackled by the cops. A.J. Brown is A.J. Brown. Cooper Kupp is Cooper Kupp with 57 apiece. So that singled each other out, which I thought was going to keep this one close. Rachaad White could have done more, but it was the wide receivers today. He only ended up with 34. The surprise of the day, Ramondre Stevenson with 57, almost 58 points. And Chris Godwin, who is rarely used, ended up with 33. That was the deciding factor that put Cheesehead over George. Mikey, who usually starts out slow, came out like gangbusters, and this game was over on Friday. He finishes the win with 276.37 to 236.76. Mikey, you would have been the stud of the week, but you cut off your nose to spite your face. I know what you're doing. You saw that this guy had neighbors in, so you went ahead and you took out Carr and you put in Daniel Jones. Let me say this to you right now. Let me get close. You cannot start Daniel Jones for the rest of the year. That's it. As you saw in the previous segment, no Giants are startable at this time. None. If you have a player from the Giants, if you have a player from the Giants and you start him and you lose your week, I'm going to roast you. Matter of fact, I think I might put an extra segment after week 3 called I Lost My Game Because I Started a Giant. And I'm going to look for all of you guys who have Giants. And I'm going to put you in that segment, especially if you lose. And I'm going to look at those points and be like, okay, where did this guy lose it? He started a Giant. I'm going to add that in. Book it. Because anybody else, Mikey, because you cut off your nose to spite your face and started Daniel Jones, 3 points. 3.08 8 points from a starting QB in the NFL. All the other ones, even though on a slow week, they all had 20-something. Even their Justin Fields had like 20-something. It was my quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, who had like 18 or whatever, and Dak had 16. But those were like the lowest of the low until it came to Daniel Jones. If you would have started... Oh, my bad. And you didn't start Nico Collins. I don't understand that one. Maybe you can explain. But you didn't start Nico Collins. Maybe it was the cockiness of having won by Friday. The game was already over Friday, so you were like, I'm just going to throw a lineup in here. So I'll give you that one. Maybe that was it. But the 40 points from Nico Collins and the 45 points, 2-6 from Derek Carr would have put you at stud of the week. So instead of dropping 50, you would have gained $50. So think about that. You should have been stud of the week. Canes gang, we're going to chalk it up to a bad week, buddy. We're going to chalk it up to a bad week. Jaden Daniels, 45 points. Yeah. Sam Darnold had a good game, but 27 points, it is what it is. Let's see what Malik Neighbors did. Malik Neighbors, 16 points. Wan'Dale Robinson had more points than Malik Neighbors. But poverty for... No, John. I'm done. I'm losing my voice. I'm not speaking on the Giants. Poverty franchise. You start the Giants if you want. You'll be on that segment. All right, next up. But good win, Mikey. Way to start off 1-0. Canes gang. I mean, we got to get this. We're in the Four Horsemen division, man. And Mikey's helping us. Thank God he's in our division. And thank God Chino's in our division. But we got to help out, Canes gang. We can't start out like this, man. It sucks. Goggles, who came out. What's up, Goggles? Hopefully the Twins are doing good. But Goggles came out of his shell of playing NCAA football and probably 2K and probably Madden to pull out a win of 304.57 against Mervin. Mervin 242.83. Anthony Richardson 63 points with the 2 bombs that he had, even though, I'm sorry, I thought it was 11. He threw 19 passes. He threw 19 passes, completed 9 of them. Where in the hell but Miami, boy? See, this is where I get to plug myself, and George. What other league could you be in where your quarterback completes 9 passes? 9 passes, 2 bombs, and gets 63.96 points. You tell me that. No one ain't touching our points. Hell of a game from Anthony Richardson. He also rushed for a touchdown. 63.96. Joe Burrow, sorry, Merv. I'll add that in as well. Nobody from Cincinnati is startable right now. Nobody from the Giants, nobody from Cincinnati. Not startable right now. Devin A-Chain and Bijan Robinson canceled each other out. They both had 39. Alvin Kamara had 40 to Josh Jacobs' 29. I think that was part of the difference. Lad McConkey had 19. Justin Jefferson, JJ, had 23. Mike Evans had 28. Waddle had 36. Another big difference. Mike Evans didn't have that many yards, even though he had the 2 touchdowns. Travis Kelce and Dallas Goedert canceled each other out. Kenneth Walker had 48 to Garrett Wilson's 18. Keenan Allen had 11 to Laporta's 16. Kyle Pitts had 16. Evan Ingram had 3. Oh, there it is. I was wondering where the difference was coming in. Mostert had 9. You can't have that. And then, of course, Kirk Cousins had the horrible game, like I said. I feel like he's still injured. Kirk Cousins finishes with 9. Baker Mayfield finishes with 48, putting Goggles over the top. Goggles goes ahead and wins it. And, excuse me, him and Cheesehead, just like in our division, D-Generation X division, Cheesehead with the win, Goggles with the win, All Day Cuz with the loss, Mervin with the loss. And that would put me at Doormat of the Week. That would put Cheesehead at Stud of the Week. So kudos to you, Cheesehead. You should have received your money. Buy the guys at the Feds some donuts and stuff like that, and then put the rest in the gas tank. Players of the Week, as per the Sleeper Week 1 report, Lamar Jackson with Quarterback of the Week with almost 71 points, 70.99. Joe Mixon was the Running Back of the Week. Thank you very much, Joe, for making it respectable. 66.70. Tyreek Hill, kudos to Tyreek after getting getting detained by the cops. 60.60. Trey McBride, surprisingly, was tight end of the week with 17.90. Benchwarmers of the week at quarterback, of course, Mikey. Derek Carr with 45.26 on the bench. All Day Cuz, which would have put him over, but we didn't know. Of course, we didn't know this, so I'm not going to blame you or anything like that. But J.K. Dobbins with 50, and he didn't even start. Jaden Reed, she said, "Oh, wow, this is blasphemy. A Packers fan doesn't start." I just realized this. A Packers, I knew you had Jaden Reed. When I was going through teams, I didn't see him. A Packers fan didn't start a pack. Wow, you brought bad luck on your team. Jaden Reed on the bench with 65.20, and he doesn't start for a guy whose name is Cheesehead. I didn't put that. I didn't bet that to happen. Isaiah Likely. Oh, God. Oh, now I know what you guys were talking about in the comments. Jesus. And Cheesehead, you were still Stud of the Week. Let me shut up. And you were still Stud of the Week. And you left over 130-something points on the bench? Jesus. All right, man. Let me shut up. You got it. You got it, man. You got it. You know the formula. Let me know something. Let me know who, I'm going to start asking you who should I start, because you got it, man. You got it. All right. Awards for the week. Most efficient manager was Sean, which means that he maximized his points. The least efficient manager was Cheesehead, of course, because you had 130 points on the bench. Highest points and loss was George with 311.78. I know that pisses you off because you took the L. Lowest points in the win was Mikey, because he decided he wanted to sit Nico Collins. And Derek Carr, can't blame you, but anything is better than Daniel Jones. Biggest blowout, Goggles blew out Mervin with a score of 304.57 to 242.83 for the biggest blowout. Narrowest victory was Cheesehead over George. I know that doesn't make George happy, with 319.35 to 311.78. Overachiever was Cheesehead with 319.35, with the starters projected at 302.29. Underachiever was, of course, me. I was projected for 326 points and ended up with 234. So it is what it is. As far as best records right now, in first place is Cheesehead. Second is Goggles. Third is Chino. Fourth is Mikey for best record. And also in that aspect, because we do pay out points for, even though it's week 1, I'm not going to be going through this week by week. I'll probably start doing it probably week 4, week 5 on. But points for, right, because this is only week 1, it doesn't really mean much, but every week counts. Cheesehead with 319, Goggles with 304, Chino with 289, and Mikey with 276. Again, if you guys don't remember how it is, also remember if at the end of the season 2 teams are tied, the points for will be measured. I'm sorry, I have it backwards. Best record will be measured by points for, and at the end of the year, if somebody should finish tied in points for, whoever has the better record overall will win the points for. Let's check out the week 2 matchups and let's wrap this up, Miami boys. All right, week 2, you have Mikey versus myself. Hopefully Mikey doesn't steamroll me. Hopefully, I don't know, maybe my guys will come to play. We'll see. Matchup of the week, you have George versus Goggles. George versus Goggles is the matchup of the week. Should be a very good one. Should be in the 300s with the teams that these guys have. Next up, you have Kane's Gang versus Chino. Kane's Gang versus Chino. Hopefully, Kane's Gang can bounce back, give Chino a good run for his money. And lastly, you have Mervin versus Cheesehead. Mervin versus Cheesehead. Hopefully, Merv's team can try to bounce back because Cheesehead is once again projected to score over 300. So there you have it, guys. That is your week 1 recap for the NFL games, your week 1 recap for the Miami Boyz season. Like I said, it's going to be a slow 3 weeks, and then from there, we'll go ahead and we'll ramp it up. And as you know, we start that on Thursday, Bills versus Dolphins. So in the interim, go Dolphins. I will see you guys next week.